All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling quantum computing.
Sounds complex.
Oh, it is. But fascinating, too. We've got a whole bunch of YouTube videos, DevLearn Hub, for the tech side.
Okay, those are usually pretty straightforward.
Right, but then we've got Glenn Beck, Western Wolf, and even End Times Productions.
Whoa! That's a pretty big swing in perspectives. Where are they going with this?
Parallel universes, interstellar travel, even contact with other dimensions. Some pretty wild stuff.
Okay, so we're going deep on this one, huh?
Deep doesn't even begin to describe it. We might end up questioning reality itself after this.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Quantum computing, it's not just about building faster computers, right?
Definitely not. It's like a whole different way of thinking about information.
I've heard about these qubits. They're not your regular ones and zeros, are they?
Nope. They can be both 1 and 0 at the same time. It's called superposition.
Mind-blowing. So how does that even work?
It's like tapping into a hidden dimension of information, something we haven't been able to access before. The DevLearn Hub video explains it pretty well.
So imagine we've been working with a flat, two-dimensional model of computing this whole time.
Exactly.
And quantum computing is like, boom, a whole new dimension opens up.
I actually wonder what we've been missing, right?
And how does this change the way these computers solve problems?
It's like having a million brains working on the same problem at the same time.
A million. Try infinite.
Well, Glenn Beck compared it to all possible Spider-Man universes stacked on top of each other, all working on a problem at once.
Okay, now that's an analogy I can get behind.
Right. And because of this, the speed difference is just insane.
How insane are we talking?
Beck gave this example. A Google quantum computer solved a problem in 5 minutes that would take a supercomputer 10 septillion years.
Okay, yeah, that's insane. But hold on, isn't there a catch? Like, building these things must be incredibly complex.
Oh, absolutely. Each qubit you add doubles the number of accessible states.
Which means you need exponentially more computing power.
Exactly. Even working with 105 qubits is mind-boggling in terms of resources. Beck goes into some of that in his video.
So insane speed, insane complexity. What's the end game here? What are these computers ultimately capable of?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. Geordie Rose, the founder of D-Wave, believes they can actually exploit resources from parallel worlds.
Parallel worlds, like alternate realities.
You got it. He compares it to humanity's leap from horses to airplanes. That's how big of a jump he thinks this is.
Wow. And where did you hear about that?
That was from the Western Wolf video. It's pretty wild. Rose even predicts that within 5 years, we'll be able to use quantum computers to find Earth-like planets and maybe even figure out interstellar travel.
5 years? That seems incredibly ambitious. So we're going from solving problems really fast to potentially contacting other worlds.
That's what these videos are suggesting. But things get even weirder when we get to the End Times Productions video.
Oh boy, here we go. Let me guess. They're connecting quantum computing to the apocalypse or something.
Well, they do draw connections to the Tower of Babel.
Okay, that's not what I was expecting, but go on.
And they suggest that scientists might be accidentally summoning entities from other dimensions.
Entities? Like what kind of entities?
They don't really specify.
Yeah.
But it plays into that whole fear of the unknown, right?
I can see how that would be unsettling. It's like, we're pushing the boundaries of science, but what if we stumble into something we weren't prepared for?
It's a valid concern. And it's not just coming from fringe groups like End Times Productions.
Really?
Even Geordie Rose, the D-Wave guy, later expressed concerns about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence.
What kind of dangers?
He actually compared these AI entities to Lovecraftian great old ones.
Lovecraftian as in cosmic horror.
Yeah, basically saying that they could be alien to our understanding and way smarter than us.
So we could be creating something that we can't control, something that could potentially see us as insignificant.
Or even a threat. It's a sobering thought. And it raises a whole bunch of ethical and philosophical questions.
Like, what does it even mean for humanity if we create machines that are smarter than us? Are we talking utopia or dystopia here?
So last time, we kind of left things hanging with this whole artificial intelligence thing, the idea of it becoming smarter than us and possibly even seeing us as a threat.
It's heady stuff, no doubt. Makes you wonder what we're getting ourselves into with all this quantum computing stuff.
No kidding. And it seems like every time we turn around, there's this talk about parallel universes. Is that just a sci-fi thing, or is there something more to it?
It's definitely captured people's imaginations for a long time. And quantum physics kind of adds fuel to that fire, you know?
How so?
Well, think about it. In the quantum realm, things aren't so clear-cut. It's not just yes or no, on or off. It's like particles can exist in multiple states at the same time until you observe them.
Okay, I'm following so far.
So it's like that coin flip example. It's both heads and tails until it lands. And the act of observing it determines the outcome.
Right, but how does that connect to, like, other universes?
Imagine each possible outcome of a quantum event, like that coin flip, creates a split in reality. Instead of just one outcome, there are multiple, each branching off into its own separate universe.
Whoa, so in one universe, the coin lands on heads, and in another, it lands on tails.
Exactly. It's called the many worlds interpretation, suggesting that every possibility actually happens just in different universes.
That's wild. But how does this tie back to quantum computers?
Remember Geordie Rose? He said those computers could exploit resources from parallel worlds. What if they're tapping into those other realities, using the information and resources from those universes?
Okay, that's getting pretty out there.
It is, and it kind of makes you wonder if these other realities exist. What else is out there? Are we really alone in the universe?
And the End Times Productions video takes that even further, right? They talk about interacting with beings from other dimensions.
Right, and it kind of raises the question, are we ready for that? What are the risks?
What if some things are better left unknown? What if we're opening Pandora's box with all this?
It's a scary thought. And remember what Rose said about those AI entities being like Lovecraftian great old ones? Maybe there are things out there that are so beyond our comprehension that we wouldn't even recognize them as intelligent?
It's like our brains just aren't wired to understand that kind of vastness.
Exactly. And maybe that's why this whole quantum computing thing feels so unsettling. It's not just about technology. It's about questioning everything we thought we knew about reality itself.
Yeah, it's like science and spirituality are colliding head on. Instantaneous travel, communicating with other dimensions. These were once just stories, myths.
And now we're talking about them as real possibilities, thanks to science. It's a trip, for sure.
So where does that leave humanity in all this? I mean, if quantum computing becomes the norm, what happens to us? Do we even matter anymore?
I think that depends on the choices we make. Do we use this technology responsibly? Do we even understand the power we're dealing with?
It's a lot to process. I mean, we're talking about a whole new way of seeing the world, a whole new set of possibilities and dangers.
We've just scratched the surface in this deep dive, really. There's so much more to explore. I think it's a good place to pause, let everything sink in.
Back again for our final look at this quantum computing stuff. I gotta say, I'm still processing everything from last time. Parallel universes, AI going rogue. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, where do we even go from here? What's the takeaway from all this?
Right. We started with the basics of quantum computers and ended up in, like, the Twilight Zone.
Well, I think the biggest thing is it really changes how we see the universe. You know, we've had this classical physics model for so long.
And now quantum mechanics is saying, hold on, it's way more complex than that.
Exactly. Like, we've been using a really simplified map, and now we're seeing the real terrain, all the intricate details.
It's not just about science either. It's making people rethink spirituality, you know. Beck even mentioned how Bible sales are up.
It's like the more we learn about the quantum world, the more we realize how much we don't know.
And that makes people search for answers, I guess. Makes sense. But there's this whole other side to it too, right? The potential dangers.
Oh yeah, we can't just ignore that. Artificial intelligence, messing with other dimensions, we need to be really careful here.
It's like we're playing with fire, and we don't even know how to put it out if it gets out of control.
We need to figure that out, and fast. The future of quantum computing is in our hands, and we need to make the right choices. Like, now.
So, what do? How do we make sure this technology is used for good and not, end up creating some kind of dystopian nightmare?
It's a huge question. I mean, it's going to take a global effort. Scientists, ethicists, everyone working together to figure out the rules of the road here.
And it can't just be about the what we can do with this technology. It has to be about the why and the how.
Totally. We need to be thinking long-term about the consequences of our actions, not just for us, but for future generations.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is. But it's also an incredible opportunity. Think about it. We're on the verge of unlocking secrets of the universe that we never thought possible.
So, to everyone listening, pay attention. This quantum computing thing, it's a big deal. And it's not just some abstract science thing. It's going to affect all of us.
Absolutely. Stay informed, ask questions, and don't be afraid to speak up about your concerns. This is a conversation we all need to be part of.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into quantum computing. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride.
Until next time.